Howdy folks, welcome back to Faded Pink Garage. We got the 56 back in the shop today. I noticed that the steering on this thing had a lot of play in it, and I was tinkering around with the front suspension last weekend, trying to adjust the camber, and noticed that the idler arm is completely worn out. So I will show you that in a moment, and that's what we're going to be working on today, is replacing that, and maybe some other parts if things don't look very good either. So let's crawl under there and take a look. All right, here we are under the truck. So this is we're in the back looking forward. Here's the tie rod here. So I was dinking around with adjusting the camber and some other things, just trying to do kind of a home alignment on this the other day to get it to drive a little bit better. And that's when I noticed where my major problem is, which is this idler arm right here on this side. So you've got a pitman arm on these Chrysler front ends. We've got a pitman arm over there that's connected to the steering box, and then there's an idler arm over here that kind of looks the same, but it's just got a little bracket into the suspension or into the front end. So when the idler or the pitman arm turns, this idler arm goes along with it, so it kind of goes in parallel with that. But what I found is when I was moving this tire around, that pitman arm has got a whole pile of play in it. So that must be where most of my play is coming from. So look at that. Heck, I've got a ½ inch or so, or I don't know, it's a lot of play in this guy. So so that's the plan today, is we're gonna remove this idler arm, replace it, maybe replace the pitman arm. I do have another one of those. I've got some tie rod ends. If I find any of those that look pretty janky. I did buy a cheap Amazon puller set just in case. Normally what I would do is just like take this nut off and just hit this with a hammer right there. A lot of times that'll pop those knuckles out, but I got the puller just in case. So let's jump in and see how that goes. Well, it ended up taking the big gun to get it off, which is fine. Problem though is it took this bolt out with it. It's wiped these threads out. And kit didn't come with a replacement bolt. So I'm gonna have to, and that's going to, is see if I can find something that'll work. It's the same size. Hopefully I can find something. I've got a whole nother front end like this up in the junk pile, but a good chance it'll end up with the same problem, but I'll do what I have to do. So we'll go see what I can find. But okay, so I've got the new idler arm set in there, so it's nice and tight. I found another bolt that'll work. It's not fine thread, but for this it should be fine. I'll just put some Loctite on it, and we should be good to go. We're all bolted back together, so everything feels much better now. I can't hardly move anything. This bolt's supposed to torque to, I think, 65 foot-pounds. I just kind of tightened it up real tight. So I put some red Loctite on the threads. So I might come back and change that later with a regular nylon nut, but that should be fine. And then this torqued, I think, to 40 foot-pounds. I ended up having to put some washers under here. I don't know if that's advisable. I don't see how it would hurt anything, but the castle nut was tightening past the hole that the cotter key goes through to the point that the cotter key wouldn't do much good until the nut had already loosened up. So I added some spacers or washers in there so it would engage the cotter key better. So in that castle nut. So we'll slap the tires back on it, and I guess could give it a try. Everything else seems okay. I'm not seeing nothing, I mean, that I would say is worn out. I'll take it in and have a professional alignment done and see what they, see if they notice anything majorly wrong. But that was definitely really bad. That's a no-go. But everything else I think is going to be okay. So we'll slap the tires back on it and put it back on the ground and throw that one in the garbage. Definitely could use a little more power. We'll see about fixing that pretty soon. Or a lot more power, I don't know. With this old chassis, I mean it's a 56 Ford with a 75 front end. It ain't like it's supposed to be a race car. It can be a little more fun. Put it that way. But I'm real tickled with this. My goal was just to get it on the road again, get it driving. It's still bone stock 1990 Mustang 5-liter, so lots of potential there. I'm not in a big hurry to get it done. Hopefully it'll never be done. But I'm looking forward to the next step, and then the next step after that, we'll just keep plugging away and taking our time and enjoying it. But yeah, this is pretty nice to drive now. It should be awesome after the alignment. Ride's good. I wish I could wish you could tell how this feels, but it's got the factory springs in the back. The factory leaf springs. What I did, if you watched my videos previously, is I took out the whole spring pack apart, cleaned it all up with a wire wheel, put grease in between all of them, put them back together. Oh, and ground where the very tips of the springs, they'll dig into the spring above it. I rounded all those off and cleaned those up. This thing rides excellent. I have no complaints. I have no desire to go to a 4-link or air banks or anything. I think it's just fine for what it is. Granted, it ain't gonna be a corner carver, but it's very acceptable. It doesn't ride like a truck at all. And this Polari, whatever you want to call it, front end, they ride like a dream. They're a little soft, but I think that's just fine. I put some nice KYB shocks on the front. A lot of guys run into problems with these front ends. They lower them too much. They screw the torsion bars out too far. And I think a lot of that's probably not having the front end installed correctly. Maybe they didn't put it deep enough in the frame, so when they were done, you have a ride height that is within the spec of the Polaris torsion bar adjustment. I don't know where I'm at on that, but this doesn't feel too soft in my opinion at all. I think all that's just fine. Little wheel hop. Not too bad. It's got just one tire spinning though. We don't have a posi yet. That can come later on. Very happy to put the 5-speed in here though. It just, I drove this truck all the way through high school, a little bit through college, and it had a 302 out of like a 78 Ford pickup. It was just a dog. Had an automatic, and this is just so much more enjoyable to drive with a stick shift. Using my phone to record this, and that's got my GPS on it. So I'm just on an old highway right now that goes parallel with the newer highway. If I could jump on behind somebody, at least I could pace them, but I'm not much traffic today, which is fine. Beautiful day. This is great. This is very happy with this. Let's see if I can get behind somebody here. I'll wait a little bit if I need to. Yeah, here comes somebody. We'll be good here. Put some lower gears in this too. It's really high gear. I'm just in fourth now. Fifth, this thing's darn near idle on the highway. We can definitely go down some gears and be fine. It's still a little, but that's just, I think, me just in alignment. Still got a little bit of play in it, but nothing like it had before. This, I can actually drive this at this speed just fine. Gotta pay attention, but that's alright. for watching. We'll catch you later.